But it's important to look at the context of what kind of a advertising world we're in at this point, right? 1978, 1979. Here are two ads that I have. Now, the one on the left is pretty easy to spot out. It's probably true. This is a Radio Shack ad. And look at those awesome prices, right? 4K printer system is $11.98, but if you want the 16K printer disk system, that's $2,385 in 1979, 1980 dollars. So just, it's gonna hurt, but trust in Radio Shack. On the right is an audio ad for, I always wanna get this exactly right, the Honeybox Omnisonic Imager, a piece of audio equipment to extend the feeling of the audio coming in through its RCA ports into symphonic true reality. Again, you can't read it from where you are, but essentially mentions that, omnisonic imagery is here. It retrofits. It's 3 dimensions in sound. Is this fraud? I mean, we look at it now and we're like, I don't know. Do I really feel like this is going to provide me 3D sound based on an RCA plug coming out from a phonograph? But there's something there. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's bad. Maybe it's worth the money that you got to put into it. Not my place to choose. And of course, you can always get away with some easy sales. 2 bits are better for 1. Now this is not fraudulent. This is a Technico selling you a 2-byte system where apparently you will get laid. Not might. I think it's critical to see that this is a lockdown you are in. I mean, if this one goes off to the other part of the club, I mean, this one's obviously loving you. I mean, there's no way out of it. So get the friggin' TMS 9900 16-bit microcomputer, SS16 we call it. It's the thing to get. And the glasses, come on. Does anyone know this artwork? I mean, some people know the style of artwork, I'm guessing. This is video game art, and this is a video game box art. This particular style was started in the 1960s. The actual term for it escapes me, but basically this is it was meant to be a way to fast render photographs and images so that a person making a decision in an advertising agency could figure out what they were looking at. Like, is this worth doing a shoot over? But it turned out it's kind of an exciting, dynamic, beautiful artwork all its own. So in the late 1970s and early 1980s, Atari would use it. And I mean, look at this king looking over this young boy who's so proud, and this girl who may be a princess or a courtesan or who knows what she is, proudly looking at him make that move. There's so much imagery baked into this. And what for? That. That's the actual screenshot of Atari checkers. And I mean, is this fraud? I'll ask this a lot. Is this fraud? Is it fraud to paint this beautiful image to you and then provide you with what must easily be like 4x4 pixels worth of joy in these round? And of course, I love the fact that it says 19 video games. 19 variations. In fact, somebody else didn't like it either. It's I didn't say I was devoid of humor, all right. Now this is different. This is the work of World Power Systems, okay? This is the actual face of fraud. This is fraudulent. If you give them money, you will never get the money. The money is not there. This ad was in many, many magazines. It was advertising all of these different consoles and programs, and on the left there, you can see, or right there, you can see, hello, fellow computists, with these smiling faces. I even go up a little closer to them. Here are the smiling faces of people who are going to fuck you. There is nothing about this that is real. The actual World Power Systems was a fraudulent company set up to bilk as many people as possible. being able to point to ads in all the magazines, being able to tell you all that this is where you want to invest, that you want to get in on some cool parts. They'll be pulling up some parts, so if you just give me another 50 grand, I can put you in on this shipment, so you're going to get them, and you're going to make $1 million because you're going to be able to sell them at half the price of everybody else, even though you paid even less. It's going to be awesome. This is what took them down, and it's something to be learned here if you've decided to become a scammer. This is if you're going to tell people how awesome your interface card is, and you're going to tell them features like there's 3 serial ports, and it's got these other features, don't show them the goddamn circuit. Because it didn't take geeks very long to look at the thing and start writing in and go, there are parts on there that don't have any power running to them. There are parts there, I know that part can't do that. You wouldn't put it there. That's crazy. So, when the questions started coming, Mr. Anderson, the head of World Power Systems, made a fucking break for it. Quite rightly so, because he had done this before. His name is Norman Henry Hunt. When he was doing this, he was Jim Anderson. His partner was Lana Anderson. And the 2 smiling people you saw were dupes. He's 22, I don't know her age, and basically they're put forward as the owners of the company. So when the shit ran down, they found themselves arrested, even though they had no idea that all of this was going on. And he bolted. And as you can see, there are a lot of pictures of him because he has posed for a lot of goddamn mugshots. All right? But I want to pause for a moment and just say, this is the face that's going to fuck you. This is the face, like John's face, that looks at you and says, everything's okay. I know things look weird, but trust me. If I come out of nothing from this talk, I want people to realize that this is kind of a thing that has always been in technical stuff, that we've always looked at these kind of deals and stuff, and people hear about stuff, and we go for the easy things and we say that's an obvious scam, but then we fall for other ones and other ones and other ones, and some of them are subtle. Some of them are misleading box art, some of them are misleading numbers, but then we just buy in because everybody else is buying in. And it's a history that's hundreds of years old. It's always been there. So this was the previous thing when he was, get that right, Colonel David Winthrop. He ran a company called DataSync, which also sold things that weren't true. He was arrested and put in jail. I think it's critical to understand he ran World Power Systems after escaping from jail. He walked off a minimum security prison and just started up again. And that's what he was up to there. In fact, while researching him, and this just busts my nut. Here we are, you can see, he ran this system. There was a lot of articles about this man. There were a lot of things going on. And you can see that they arrested George Perry Pollock. That's the 22-year-old guy who found out to his horror that he was not just involved in a fraud, but that technically he was, it looked like he was the ringleader. He was the total patsy. He signed on, he was the CEO of this great company that turned out to be awful. But while researching, I found this 1998 article that matched to him. Here's the deal. There were prisoners filing false tax returns, and a Confederate on the outside, the wife of one of the prisoners, was getting the checks. Tens of thousands of checks, ring-led by this guy. So he had been in prison since the early 1980s, and since the mid-1990s, he was actually committing tax fraud in prison. That's pretty hardcore. That's really putting shame to Department of Corrections, right? Correction is not happening here. He is doubling down. He's going for it, okay? So Mr. Hunt was actually arrested and tried in jail for crimes committed in jail. And you gotta say, dude, when do you walk away? When do you walk away? To make up for the shame, because there was, of course, a lot of shame involved in the fact that this terrible ad came out and World Power Systems had destroyed people. Creative computing actually, was this creative computing? I'm very sorry, it's not creative computing. Yeah, sorry about that, yeah. They came out with this very, very self-serving article saying, now remember, don't fall for fraud. And they walk you through why you shouldn't fall for fraud. And I consider this thing a total wank, because if you look at this ad from CompuFlake, right, their fake ad to show you what to watch out for, this is every goddamn ad in the magazine. Everyone makes incredible promises. Everybody tells you things. You can't tell. So it's purely somebody saying, well, we're going to show that it's this and this and this. And yes, by the way, it's a wireless controller, which I think is also awesome. And they're like, bullshit, who's going to have wireless? That's an immediate tip off to fraud. Fuck yeah. And as a little dig, you can see it's in Tucson, Arizona, as a little dig because World Power Systems came from Arizona. Many years later, Tom Jennings, creator of FidoNet, registered WPS.com and named his website World Power Systems as an homage to this. And what he told me, we had to talk about this guy and this stuff, because he was fascinated by the history too. He told me that at one point he moved to Arizona just for a while and had World Power Systems. You can reach me in Arizona. And there were people who found him who were still 25 years later burned by this guy, feeling anger and trying to find out who this guy was and who is this new scumbag trying to do things. And he looks a little bit like Pollock, just enough for them to go, who's this guy? What's he doing? So I think it's also important to realize this is not some old history for some people. Some people will carry this weight until they die. They were hurt by this thing, deeply and involved. Here's what the bust out is. Let's talk about the bust out. Bust out of a scam. Go to a town, new identity. You are awesome. You have a great story. You are friendly. You meet up with people. You socially go to all the right meetings. You get involved in things. You talk to folks. Everything is interesting to you. Everybody is interesting to you. You go to meetings where you stay afterwards to clean up. You make new friends. Over time, you start investing in things. You give somebody money for something, you bring it back in, you go involve yourself in a small business idea, works out, good, excellent. You build it up, you build up deals, you build up things, and when you make that point, and it's like fishing, you make the right choice, and you're like, okay, the most amount of people have invested the most in me right now, you skip town, you blow out. That's the bust out. Let's go back to June 8, 2000. I read you the first part. The secret past of a successful businessman is coming to light just a couple weeks after his death. In 1986, he assaulted a police officer in Irving, Texas. He was arrested, bonded out, and then went on the run. They had an attempted murder warrant out on him. He has a criminal past in other states, mostly white-collar crimes. He died of a heart attack in Noblesville in May 23rd. So it's important to realize he was on the FBI wanted list at the time of his death. He was not, if you look at the FBI wanted list, a lot of people go, the 10 most wanted, but there's actually like a list of like FBI wants this guy's ass. And it's a larger list. And he was on it. He was on it from 1989 until 2000 when he died. He spent every day as a fugitive, as a living, breathing, running fugitive.